hope the lighting is okay because it is dark because it took me that long to do everything that I needed to do today and then get home. But I have just been to my first author talk. I have 4 in store for this video. 4 in store for this video. And I have been to the first one. So before I pull out the book and tell you all about it and show you it, because I will do that, I went to this author talk and did not realize that it was actually an author talk of a book club that happens once a month at, you know, this particular library. And I didn't know that that was what I was going for. I was expecting something a little bit different like I'd been to previously, which is why there is no footage of me, no footage at all of this author talk, because it was like a book club vibe, and these ladies who were there clearly, like, you know, most of them knew each other and they like regularly get together for this book club situation, and I didn't want to be weird by filming. But I will say, because it was like that, like, these ladies, bless them, they were all a little on the older side. And because it's like the middle of a work day, I mean, not many people, I suppose, are gonna be available in the middle of a work day, although I was, so, you know, clearly there are some people, but these ladies, bless, they were so cute. I loved listening to these ladies, like, asking the author about, like, her books and, you know, just, like, talking about, you know, like, stories and, like, this is a romance author. It was just, it was so nice to just be there and listen to all of these older ladies just talking about, like, all this stuff. It was so sweet. It was so nice. A couple of times I found myself just grinning while I was listening because it was just so cute, okay? So these ladies were so nice. So shout out if you were, like, in the, I think it's the Baronia Library. Shout out to you guys. Not that you're watching, because you're probably not, but you guys were so sweet. I loved being there with you guys. It was so nice. So it took me by surprise, but honestly it was really fun. I really enjoyed it, actually. Like, the format was different than I'm used to, which is sort of more like people are sitting in the audience and, you know, the author is out and, like, out the front and you know, talking about their books, or even being asked questions depending on everyone has been a little different that I've been to, and that I did as well. But this was by far my favorite one. So the author that I went to see, and I had never heard of until I'd signed up for this author talk, is, now I'm going to say her name wrong because even though she's, like, they said it like 17 times. Rainier? Anyway, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry that I pronounced your name wrong, if it's wrong. Rainier Battany, and I actually ended up walking away with you in the Wild Orchids, and she has signed it for me. I actually ended up just chatting to her, like, there was an afternoon tea. I had no idea that was going to happen, but I ended up chatting with her a little bit about, you know, writing and things like that, and books in general. It's really nice to talk to other people who like books, because it's not everybody these days, but it's really nice, actually, because they understand why books are awesome. But anyway, so she has about, I think she's at 11 books, and you can get lots of them on Kindle. There are some that are printed as well. This book was apparently centered around the scenery, and that was what she first had when she decided to write this book, and she just decided she desperately wanted to set this book in this particular scenery, and then also, like, got some characters and other things going on after that. But, like, the initial idea was beautiful scenery. I don't tend to particularly care much about scenery. Like, I could do without a lot of descriptions of scenery, but knowing that that is, like, one of the main reasons this book was written, I'm actually going to, when I read this, I'm actually going to pay a lot of more attention. So the story, what is this book even about, you ask me, because I've been babbling on for ages without telling you. So let me tell you. The story is about, I've tried to explain this 7 times now. I'm always stuffing it up. So this is the final take, all right? This story is about Luna. Her aunt convinces her, her mother, and the aunt Juliet herself to all write down their deepest, darkest secrets and put them in a box, and then the aunt buries them somewhere in her hometown. 20 years later, Luna never intended to like even bother with those letters, but then her Aunt Juliet dies, and she goes back to try and dig up the box with the letters, I suppose, like the deep, dark secrets. But it turns out that it's no longer a pine forest. It is actually now a house, I think. The forest is now on private land by the apparently sexy but guarded Jamie. Okay. This book sounded really sweet. I actually looked and saw this was one of my preferred picks that I was going to get. So I'm kind of glad that this is the one that ended up getting and was signed. There's even a photo of me and Renia? I'm so sorry about your name. So sweet, so nice. Yeah, it was really fun. It was really fun. And I'm actually really excited to read this one. I am going to actually read them all. I think that'll be really fun. So we're going to do that, but for now, I'm gonna pop this in a very special place so that I remember this part of this video. And I will see you guys when it comes to the next author signing. For me, that's next week. For you guys, it is right now. Author talk number 2 on a very sunny, apparently, winter day. And we are going out to the Mornington Library, and we're going to see an author I know absolutely nothing about, but I'm excited. So let's go. Try and balance the phone while I'm saying this. So hi, we are back from author talk number 2, and it was a lot of fun. I did get some little bits of footage, but as you could see, potentially, it was less of a book club like the last one, and more of this time sitting in the audience listening to the author talk about, you know, herself and her writing journey, and then answering some questions, and then getting a book that was signed. So I actually walked away with 2 books. Okay, so the author that I looked at today and I went to the talk today was Maya Linnell, and I got her newest release, which is Kookaburra Cottage, and then I also got another one of hers, which is Magpie's Bend. Maya writes rural romances, Australian rural romances, and a lot of what she writes apparently seems to come from her life, and that's really cool. She lives in sort of some rural areas and loves gardening and baking and home renovations and things like that, and that always seems to end up in her books. And they sounded really fun. I ended up getting 2 because yeah, they sounded really cute and really interesting. I'm I'm half when it comes to Australian like rural romance type stories, and I don't really know that I've given them a fair shot before, but these 2 particular stories sounded really interesting. I have them, look, wait, haha, they are both signed. I think they say different things, which is fine. And I did also get a little bookmark that she gave away with her books. So interestingly enough, I went to Big W right after this author talk and was looking in their book section for something else, and ended up finding her book, the new release that was there, and I was like, oh, that's there. I never would have. A cover like this for me is not usually what I go for, so I probably wouldn't have picked it up or really looked at what it was even about unless I'd heard from Maya and about the story, and it actually does sound really fun. So I'm glad I did. I'm glad I got it, and I'm glad I went. It was really fun. It was really good. So if you want to know what these ones are about, so Kookaburra's Cottage has, I'm going off of memory from the author explaining what this is about. Kookaburra Cottage is about a woman who has a family-run winery in Australia. And there is also, she's not sure if she is up to being able to do it. There is a guy coming from, I think, the UK who is a wine guy. That's his job, and he's coming to Australia to learn what Australians do in the wine business. And then you also have another element of a country show and baking for the country show, I believe. So that sounded really fun, and it would be like there'll be some interesting family dynamics in that one. And then the other book that I got, which is Magpie's Bend, is part of a series. It's a standalone series, so
you can read about I think 4 different sisters, and it doesn't really matter which order you read it in. You can read any of them in any order. So I picked up Magpie's Bend because it's involving a nurse who is trying to save the local post office at the small town, and I thought that sounded really cute and really fun. So that was my adventure in Author Talk number 2. I have one more. I think there's only one more on the list now to get to, and then I will see you in a second, but for me it'll be next week. So
Hi everyone, so I am wrapping up this video early, which I didn't think was going to happen. However, the last author talk that I had planned, I can't actually go to anymore. I am starting a new job, so I actually can't be there. And as such, I now have to wrap this video up with only 2 author talks that I've been to, but 2 is better than none. And as you saw in some of the footage, I am really excited about some of the books that I got. So I'm just going to wrap up really quickly and talk about sort of briefly remind you guys, because I briefly remind myself of the books that I have and that I am excited to read that I got from authors. So from that first one, we have the With You in the Wild Orchards by Rania Battany. I'm sorry about names. I know I mispronounce things. And this is technically an ARC, so that is really special for me. I get an ARC and a signed copy for this book, and I'm really excited to read this one. I'm gonna probably do a small town romance, or like small town / rural romance reading challenge very, very soon. So I've collected a few. Some of them I collected on purpose and some of them were unwittingly collected, but you know, I think I'm probably going to do a reading challenge for that so that I can get to some of them, because otherwise I may not actually get to them for a while. So hopefully that will come out really soon, and I'm going to get on that very quickly. I'm very optimistic that will happen, because these are really special as well, and I want to get to these. It's always more special when an author signs their work for you, and you get to meet them and they sign it for you. It's just more special for me. And then the second place we went to, which you guys just saw, which was Mile and Owl, and I have Kookaburra Cottage, and I have Magpie's Bend, and they are both signed. I decided to get 2. We have this really cool bookmark that she gave us as well, and it was nice to get 2. She wrote 2 different things. So we have this one, when I talked to her about being a writer, and so usually when you talk to a writer about being a writer, they'll put something in the, if they're signing it to you at the same time, they'll put something in there usually, which is quite fun. And I think I might have done that myself, actually, when I met somebody who also wanted to be a writer, but I can't remember exactly if that was true. It's actually kind of distracting for me. I can't say for every author, but when you're trying to talk to someone and sign their book at the same time, to like not write the wrong thing and also be listening, for me that was a challenge. But anyway, and then on the second one, we just have some really cute little short message on that one as well. So we've got some really interesting, different for me. I haven't been a huge small town / rural romance girl before, and so I'm actually really excited to sort of read outside of my zone and, you know, get a feel for a genre that I don't usually pick up very often. I will say too that ever since I went to the author talk and got the book signed by Maya, I have seen Kookaburra Cottage just in all the stores, which is really funny, because ordinarily if I'd seen this in the store, it doesn't look like a book that I would pick up, so I would have just looked right past it. So it's been really interesting to have a different genre and have something that it's really going to give me a different reading experience. So I'm excited for that. I probably, like I said, I'll do a small town / rural reading challenge vlog, something or other. I'll challenge myself to do something like that. Plus, I also now have signed copies of these, and I love meeting authors. I love supporting them and hearing about their writing journey and their life and their stories, and that was really fun. So even though the last book author talk was a no-go, the 2 that I did get to go to were really fun, and I feel like because it's winter there's usually not as many to go to, but hopefully we will have more in the future that we get to go and visit. And if you guys know about your local libraries, you can head onto their websites and find out if you have any author talks nearby, because they do them. They really do. I have noticed though, if it's set in the middle of the day, majority of the people who are going are usually like on the older scale of retirees, and that is amazing. I love older people. They are so much fun, and so, you know, that might be who you're sitting with if you have the chance to go in the middle of the day, but other ones are held sort of at, you know, at night, on a Thursday night or on a Saturday, but I think most of those happen sort of in the summertime. So if you wanted to, you should check out your local libraries and see if you can go to an author talk. Maybe like find someone you've never heard of before. That's how I found Sally Hepworth and Lisa Ireland, who are very popular authors in Australia, and I just hadn't heard of them before until I went to their author talk and bought one of their books and got them signed one each. So, you know, it's really fun. It expands your knowledge of writers and of their craft and of how they come up with their stories, and it can be really interesting. So I would encourage you to go do that. But otherwise, thanks for watching, you guys, and I'll see you in the adventures.